Welcome to Spenelli Speaks. Hi everyone, Danny here. Welcome back to my channel. It is August and time for a fresh TBR. I am super excited about this TBR because you guys picked it. Subscriber recommendations! Yay! If you are new to my channel, hi, I'm Danny. I am super excited because in the month of July, it was my birthday month, and I had a bunch of different videos, and one of the videos was asking subscribers for recommendations on what books I should read this month. I got a ton of really awesome suggestions, and I cannot wait to jump into some of these books. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So before I get into that, I just want to say thank you to everyone who offered up suggestions and recommendations, and I was not able to get all of the books, but the books that I was able to get, I'm going to talk about today. Now, of course, I still am going to be doing my buddy reads and my book of the month with my book club, as well as still reading through London with Nora from Butler. So there's still all of those things going on. But let's talk a little bit about the recommendations that I got from subscribers. Let's talk about the audiobooks first. So the first audiobook that I'm going to be reading this month was a recommendation from Angie over at Literary Labors. I'll put all of these booktubers in the description below. Some of the subscribers don't have channels, so obviously those won't have links with them, but I'm still going to put their names below. So Angie recommended that I listen to the audiobook of The Best Worst Man by Mia Sosa. I found it on my library Hoopla, which I was really excited about because when someone recommends you a book in a certain format, you definitely want to read it in the format they suggest. So I was super happy to find that. The second book that I was recommended that I also found an audiobook was recommended by Kayla over at Books with Kayla. And she recommended A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rum. I'm really excited about this one because I think it's been going around BookTube for quite a little bit now, and I've heard little bits about it, but I'm not quite sure what it's about. So I'm excited to jump into that one. And then the last one that I found on audiobook was suggested by Laura from Butler. She suggested that I read To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. And I love Virginia Woolf, so I'm really excited to read something that I haven't yet read from her. Now, moving on to the physical books that I found that I'm going to be able to read. The first was actually recommended by two subscribers. They both recommended Gift from the Sea by Anne Morrow Lindbergh. And I believe this is a compilation of essays. I'm not quite sure, but if two people recommended it, it's got to be good. So I'm excited to jump into this one. Then we have a fictional book that was recommended again from Laura from Butler. It's a Nora Roberts book, Star of Fortune. This is the book 1 of the Guardians trilogy. So I'm really excited to jump into this. This one is more of a Greek style romance, I think. I'll just read the really beginning. It says, to celebrate the rise of their new queen, 3 goddesses of the moon created 3 stars, one of fire, one of ice, one of water. But then they fell from the sky, putting the fate of all the worlds in danger. And now 3 women and 3 men join forces to pick up the pieces. Ooh, looks like it's on a Greek island. Ooh, I'm excited for that. So little romance this month. Please ignore the dogs. Then another recommendation from Laura is an author that I absolutely love, and that is Abbi Waxman, The Garden of Small Beginnings. And I'm not quite sure what this one's about either, but I really like Abbi Waxman's writing, and I'm excited to jump into this. It's a little bit of a chunkster, but I know that I plow through these books. Her writing style is very quick-paced, and I'm absolutely down for another one of her books because it's been a little bit since I've read from Abbi Waxman, so I'm really excited about that one as well. Then a physical book that I don't yet have, actually Laura from Book Butler is going to be bringing it to me, so I'll be able to have it in physical format. But Emily from Novell Novels recommended that I read Flatshare by, I think it's Beth O'Leary. I'm excited because I've been seeing that book everywhere on BookTube. I keep seeing it on Instagram, and I keep saying to myself, like, I really want to read this, but it's not available at my library. I think I'd have to order it from Amazon, so I'm super thrilled that Laura has it and she's lending it to me. I'm so excited. I think it's about these people who like share a flat or an apartment, and one is there during the day and one is there at night, and then they leave notes for each other. So it's like a little romance. It sounds really charming, so I'm really excited to read that one as well. And then another physical book that I had recommended to me by Linda at Linda's book, World of Books, Linda's World of Books, I believe it is The Serpent King by Jeff Zentner. This is a young adult novel, and I don't know if it's a series, but it says Dill has had to wrestle with vipers his whole life. At home, as the only son of the Pentecostal minister who urges him to handle poisonous rattlesnakes, and at school where he faces down bullies who target him for his father's extreme faith and very public fall from grace. The only antidote to all this venom is his friendship with the fellow outcasts, Travis and Lydia. But as they are starting their senior year, Dill feels the coils of his future tightening around him. Oh, well, that sounds very interesting. This one I've never heard of before, but again, these are subscriber recommendations, so I'm super excited to see what you guys have all sent me. So that's awesome. I do have one other book that is in an ebook format, because I couldn't find it in audio and I couldn't find it in physical format, but I did find it in ebook, and this was recommended to me by Ramsey over at Rajathon, and he recommended Magic Casement by Dave Duncan. So I have no idea what that one's about either, but I found it on my audio or my electronic library as an ebook, so I'm really excited to try to dive into that. I believe that's about, looks like 4, 7, 8 books that I'm going to be able to dive into. So I am taking the suggestion of Christy Lewis over at Dostoevsky in Space. She recommended that I do a vlog of reading all of the subscriber recommendations, so I'm definitely going to try that. I'm going to have to be really strategic so that it's not, you know, like 40 hours long, but I'm definitely going to try it so you guys can see my first impressions of these books, since they're all recommendations from you. Now, I mentioned before, I'm reading a book of the month with my book club. We are reading Grateful by Diana Butler Bass. I'm actually going to be listening to that in an audio format. And then I'm going to be doing a buddy read with Ange over at Angie with E. And we're going to be reading Elizabeth Gaskell's North and South. If you remember, I wasn't able to finish that a few months ago. Now we're going to do it in a buddy read. And I think we might actually talk a little bit with Emily at Novell Novels, because she's reading that this month as well. So I have that buddy read, and then I'm sure I'll have some other things, but of course London, and then the series of unfortunate events. I do not have the next 2 books in physical format. I have access to them in audio, but I'm concerned that it's going to be a different format than what I've been reading. So I'm still kind of contemplating if I'm going to try and buy the books and get those on. I obviously need to keep reading those if I want to get them done by the end of the year, but I'm not sure. If I read them in audiobook, is it going to change my experience? Or do I do it just to see what the difference is? But I have those as well. So still rounding out at about 12 books that I am anticipating reading. Plus I kind of have a couple of graphic novels that I'm thinking about looking at this month too. So definitely have kind of a large stack of books that I'm going to try to read this month, but I'm excited. I didn't read a lot last month, so I'm excited to read a lot this month, and it'll be so good. So tell me, what are you reading? Have you read any of these books? Do you think these are great suggestions? If you had recommended books to me previously and I haven't gotten them on this list, I am still going to try to get those read at some point. I just have to be able to find them. This is really going to be a great month. So until next time, guys, I hope you are reading something great, taking care, and staying safe. And you know how it goes, guys. Happy reading. Bye.